Yes, we will start. Welcome to the February 2nd, 2022 meeting of the Hyde Park Planning Board. This meeting is being conducted virtually as authorized for the New York State Legislation Bill A8591, amending the Open Meetings Law and allowing for public meetings to be held virtually. First matter of business is to make sure that each board member is alone and is not duly influenced by surrounding people. Ms. Weiser.
I'm alone.
Mr. Waters.
I'm alone.
Ms. Wasser.
I'm alone.
Mr. Oliver.
I'm alone.
And I am alone. Did John join us? No. Okay, well, then we're good. Next, let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. And I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. The first item on our agenda tonight is a resolution considering site plan approval for the Disabled Veterans Bee Farm. The owner applicant is Chris Pelletier, and he's on our call here. Chris, where are you? There you are. Hi. Thank you for waving. That helps. So we had you on 2 meetings ago, and I think the last meeting, but where we closed the public hearing, and we've kept the public hearing open for 7 days, and we did receive one additional communication from one of the neighbors, and you have also responded to that. And so I'm going to ask my fellow board members if you've had a chance to read through both of those communications. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Chris, did you want Chris Pelletier? Did you want to add anything to this?
Unless I'm going to get denied, I mean, I'm pretty much good to go.
Okay, good. I'm just going to run through real quick and ask Victoria, do you have any comments on this application?
I'm not engaged on this application.
Oh, okay, sorry. Then let me ask my colleagues. Ann Weiser, do you have any additional?
No, I
comments?
thought that Chris did a really nice job explaining why everything was where it was. And I felt that you, I think you did a great job. I can picture it now. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Weiser. Ms. Wasser, did you have any additional comments?
You're muted.
Sorry, my apologies. Okay, so I did listen to the last hearing, and even though I missed it, I did have one question more there around the corrals. If I might have missed it when I was watching the YouTube, but the horses are brought in for exercise and then they're returned to stables. So the horses are not out there that long. How long are they out there each day near the property line?
It all depends. You know, it's up to the stables when they bring them. I just wanted to make sure that I was in compliant with all the codes by making sure. I mean, they have a couple other places that they roam to. They can go to the FDR. There's trails down there that they can go. But mine is like a private place where they can park their trucks and trailers, and they can leave the horses there if they're doing something else. If they're tending to one, they could just put them there for a couple hours.
I think you just answered it, a couple of hours.
Okay, fair enough.
No, yeah, you don't have to. I did listen to the last hearing, and I do want to agree with Ms. Weiser's comments. I think you responded very well, and I don't have further concerns.
Thank you, Ms. Wasser. Mr. Waters, do you have any comments?
No, Chris answered all the questions that I had, And everything seems to be, fine. I have no problems.
Okay, great, thank you. Mr. Oliver, do you have any comments?
I have no further comments regarding this. Thank you.
Okay, and I just wanted to ask our zoning administrator, Ms. Moss, if you have any additional comments.
No, I'm fine, thank you.
Great. So, Mr. Pelletier, we do have a resolution drafted for this. And without any further delay, I would ask my colleague Chris Oliver to read that.
Resolution number 2021-58A, whereas. Now therefore be it resolved that the planning board hereby approves the site plan and authorizes the chairperson or his authorized designee to sign the site plan after compliance with the following conditions. 1, payment of all fees in escrow. 2, revision of the site plan set to add site plan note that restricts the maximum number of horses to 15 at any one time. 3, revision of the site plan set to organize as a bound document or a single sheet with a space for the planning board stamp and the owner's stamp.
Seconded, Rob Waters.
Thank you. Is there any further
I just want-
discussion?
If I wanted to add horses later on, let's just say if I have an event, sometimes I have a big veterans party and I have 100 and something people, 150 people come up and they give horse trails. Could I bring more for the day? Do I have to get a special permit? How does that work?
I'm going to ask our zoning administrator to opine.
Sorry.
Tad, you're muted.
We had discussed kind of an how many horses you thought you were going to have on the property at the time, so that's what
I just
I
don't-
included.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't ever see it getting more than that. But if there's ever the issue where we have one day like an event where I get people to come up and they do riding, do I need to apply for a permit or just that's the rule?
I would say that's the rule, and if there's something that comes up, please call me and we'll try to work something through.
Perfect. Sorry. I just don't
That's
want to.
okay. That's okay. So we have a motion. It's been seconded. If there's any more discussion, all in favor, please raise your hand and say aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously. Mr. Pelletier, it's been a pleasure to work with you.
I appreciate you all so much. Thank you for all you do.
Congratulations.
Thank
Yes,
you.
and thank you for doing that. I think it's a great idea, and I would love to see more of that.
Oh, by all, you know what? You're more than welcome. Come anytime you like.
Great. Thank you
Bring
so
your
much.
kids.
Have
Bring your kids.
Be
a
safe.
good evening.
Thank you very much. Have a nice, Miss Moss. Have a wonderful evening. Take care.
All right.
Take care all. Bye-bye.
Okay. Next up on our agenda is 64 Falkhill Road. This is an amendment of conditions of final subdivision approval. This had previously been approved, and this is just what we would call a ministerial action. Do we have Mr. Pater? Is Pater on? I don't think so, right?
No, Mr.
Okay.
Scott is not here.
Mr. Scott is not here. Okay, again, this is just making sure everything aligns and that what the resolution says is actually what's on site plans and subdivision plots. But I'm going to ask Ms. Polidoro to please maybe explain it just a little bit better than I did.
There I am. So there were two conditions of approval that were required for this project. The plans that have been submitted to the town do not contain that information, but those information is included on the site plans that were submitted to the town. So in this case, there was both a subdivision approval and a site plan approval. And so rather than having the applicant reprint the 12-page plans over, changing this condition so that it doesn't require these revisions to the plan, because that information is already provided on another plan set, would allow the applicant to proceed. So Ms. Moss has created an annotated version of the resolution. If you look here, the original condition is in red. So it says include a key, well, okay, for K.
Right, yep.
At
There you go,
F,
F.
we're
Yep.
deleting a portion that says, and a detail of the proposed monument. And she has placed a comment on this that explains that, you know, it's already elsewhere. And then if you scroll down to K, the whole condition is going to be deleted. And again, Ms. Moss explains that that sheet is included elsewhere. And so this annotated resolution is going to be attached to the resolution you're going to adopt tonight. So when we have to go back in 6 months, 7 months and say, why did we do that? Or what happened? We can refer back to Ms. Moss's notes.
We're creating a good lineage, so to speak, so that we can always figure out what happened. Thank you. I'm gonna stop sharing. There we go. Okay.
It's
So
mine.
let me, did you have anything more to offer, Ms. Polidoro?
No, thank you.
Okay. Ms. Moss, would you like to add anything?
No, just to restate, I guess, that when the plans all came in and were approved the first time, they were not divided out into subdivision and site plan, and we attempted to let the applicant know which sheets we thought should be in which set, and it didn't really come out that way when the sheets were revised. So we're trying to make sure that all our bases are covered in either the subdivision or the site plan, but this will allow the subdivision to be signed and filed, and then they can move forward on the easements and the site plan application conditions.
Excellent. Okay. I'm not sure if I need to go through my colleagues, but I will. So Ms. Wasser, do you have any comments?
No, none, thanks.
Ms. Weiser,
Nope, nothing from me. Thanks.
Mr. Oliver,
No comment.
Mr. Waters?
No comments?
I think that is it. Okay, so I believe,
You want me to share it?
sure, that would be great.
Yeah.
Ms. Wasser has this. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Resolution to amend the conditions of final subdivision approval, 64 Fall Kill Road, 2-lot subdivision. Whereas we're at February 2nd, 2022, and it's resolution 2021-08C. Whereas times 6 clauses. Now therefore be it resolved that condition 6F of the resolution is hereby amended as follows. F, include a key indicating the symbols for the quote monuments to be set, end quote, delineating the conservation area and property corners. Be it further resolved that condition 6K of the resolution is hereby deleted.
I'll second that since Mr. Gercio is absent.
Thank you, Mr. Oliver. Is there any more discussion? All in favor, please raise your hand and say aye.
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 Resolution passes unanimously. Thank you very much for that. Great. All right. Next on the agenda, Mr. Reingold can join us. You can unmute. There you go.
I'm unmuted now, I guess.
Yes, you are. Thank you so much. Okay, so the next item on the agenda is a site plan waiver for Carney and Tatiana Reinvolt, who are looking to put on a new carport onto their garage. And I know for weather, like we're supposed to have on Friday, that will come in handy as you do it. Our zoning administrator has gave us her recommendation that we waive site plan for this, even though this is in the SASS, but it's not a major addition, and it seems to look just fine. I'm going to ask again my colleagues. Ms. Wasser, do you have any comments?
No, I don't. I'm fine with it. Thank you.
Ms. Weiser,
I have no comment. Thank you.
Mr. Oliver,
No comments.
and Mr. Waters.
No comments.
Mr. Reinvolt, do you have any comments on this?
No, not really.
Okay.
It's all
It'll
in
be
the application.
great. Okay, great. Now, who has this? This is
I
Anne. Okay, let me see if I can share.
Oh, I have it, so. Carney and Tatiana Reinvolt, site plan waiver, Town Code Section 108-9.4C2, February 2nd, 2022, resolution number 2022-02. Whereas a site plan waiver has been made to the Town of Hyde Park Planning Board by Carney and Tatiana Reinvolt to erect a 16 foot by 16 foot carport. The carport will be attached to the detached garage in the rear of their property, requiring a building permit, and whereas. Therefore, be it resolved, the Town of Hyde Park Planning Board hereby waives site plan requirements for the proposed changes as described in the building permit received by the Building Department January 7th, 2022, and per the request to the Planning Board dated January 15th, 2022.
Second, Chris Oliver.
All in favor, please raise your hands and say aye.
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 Okay, resolution passes unanimously.
Thank you.
When do you think you'll start working on that?
Early spring,
Okay, yeah, probably after all the snow is done.
certainly, yes, yes.
All right, well, good luck with that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay,
I'm leaving.
all right,
All right, bye.
all right. The next item on our agenda is signage for Rite Aid. This is located up on the intersection of Route 9G and Crum Elbow and Market Street. We all know this intersection quite well. Was Nancy able to join us? I don't see her.
I don't see her. She was
Can
invited.
you hear me?
Oh, there she
Hello.
is.
Oh,
I am-
there you are.
I am sorry. Jay Malley is actually Nancy Forrest. I'm on my son-in-law's computer. He
Okay,
uses it for work and I don't want to do too many changes, but I am here if you need me.
great, thank you. Basically, this is considering sending a recommendation letter to the ZBA regarding the requested area variance for the signage. Our chair has written a recommendation. He's recommending that they grant the smaller of the two sizes. There's a preferred one by the applicant and then another one, and the recommendation talks about why we would prefer to have the smaller of the two variances approved. Nancy, did you have anything you wanted to add?
No, that's their recommendation and I guess I will appear in front of them in our next meeting and we'll hash it out. We just want to get Rite Aid done.
Yes,
I want to get
understood.
them out of here.
Yes. Well, it's just a recommendation and it does end by saying, but we do leave it up to the board to make their own determination.
Right.
Um,
My only concern was the smaller of it, that is just the Rite Aid logo, the square at 24 inches. Now I have stacked lettering and I don't, that makes my Rite Aid letters and my pharmacy letters like right around 11 inches and we're a good distance off the road. And that's why we have a formula that's used in the sign industry based on how many feet from the road, what size letters you should have. And so we try to get as close as that as we could. So we'll talk to them about it and whatever it turns out, I'm sure we'll work it out.
Yes, no, I'm sure of that also. Part of this was the fact that it's already in existence and there's already signage on there. And so we're kind of comparing the lower of the two and the upper of the two. The larger is significantly much larger than what's currently there. It's in the neighborhood of like 65% bigger than what's currently there. But again, the reasons are detailed why we would want to see the smaller one, but again, that board will be able to make its own determination. Let me get some comments here. Rob Waters.
No comments.
Okay. Mr. Oliver.
No comments.
Okay. Ms. Weiser.
I have nothing to add, thanks.
Okay. Ms. Wasser.
I just want to compliment Michael on that incredibly detailed letter.
Yes.
That was an amazing letter, and I hope the ZBA finds it very useful. So that's my only comment.
Yeah, and I agree 100% with you. It's not easy. I'm having written one very basic one.
You just did one.
Yes, but I would not have been able to write this, I don't believe. So, so can I get a motion to allow this to be sent to the ZBA? Oh,
I'll make that motion, Chris Oliver.
thank you so much. Do I have a second?
I'll second that. Rob Waters.
Thank you. Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor, please raise your hand and say aye.
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 Thank you. All right. Let me get this one. I'm trying to clean up as I go. Okay, the next item on the agenda is signage for the Gulf Station. This is on Route 9, just south of the Dairy Queen and just north of the old Hyde Park Drive-In. Now, Nancy,
Yes.
so there's two signs for this. One is a wall-mounted sign and one is the freestanding sign to replace the kind of tower-like sign that's at the corner of Terwilliger and Route 9.
Correct.
So we were in discussions. It's been, there might be some concerns with lowering the sign that you can now see underneath and putting it at the end of an intersection. So I believe you've been contacted to stake this out, just the freestanding sign portion.
Yes, I spoke to Cynthia last week and I tried to connect with the owner to have him meet me on site so that we could do that. Regardless of weather conditions, we can figure it out. My shop will do something. Unfortunately, I couldn't get to him or get it scheduled. So I will have it scheduled by or done by, say, a week from today. And then that gives a week for the board members to go by. I need to see him on site. I need to see how we can shift it and how I can put something up so that when you drive in and out, you can see the distance and we see what we can work out. And that one is lowered to the height that the town has in their new ordinance. And they always wanted me to do a base, a stone base, which is a significant addition to the cost of the sign, but they're perfectly willing to do that. And the whole logo thing, yeah, the sign is balanced out at the 30 square feet that they like. And I went through this years ago with the Sunoco station. The board would not grant me to exceed the 10 inches on the Sunoco one that's just up the street there. You know where that is by the consignment shop there.
Right.
And it does look awkward, but that's just the way it is. We have our pricing units and they're required to have anything they're selling has to have a pricing unit. So we put that there and work it into the 30 square feet. It's balanced out on the other side with the white background and the logo. I talked to, they're very specific. Gulf Corporation does not give us a lot of room anyway. They would have been okay with it larger, obviously, but they're not upset that they can't because it's a recognized logo. I had hoped to try to put maybe even their colors in an interior border of it, like a big blue stripe, you know, around the outer edge and then the orange to fill it in a little, but corporate won't allow that. I don't know if you've seen, and I don't know if you even like it. They do have another one that almost looks like sky behind it. It's like a baby blue background. That really won't make a difference though, because I personally don't think it would look better. It looks like clouds and blue sky. It's not, you've probably seen it on some of their other stations. So the planning board, I've been told they are unable, they can only do the building signs as far as increasing to 17 inches. And the last time I appeared in front of ZBA, they were pretty tight about it. And that was also with TEG, Sawyer's Bank. They're pretty strict with it. So this is what it is.
Right, without going for a variance.
Right. Which I don't think I would get. If I really felt comfortable with it, I'd waste the time. I mean, I shouldn't say waste the money or the time, I would do it. But I've done it on a couple of occasions and I don't know. I told him that he could do that. And he's like, let's just give them what they say we can have.
Okay,
Now, I also talked to Cynthia today. There is on the current sign a garage behind him right in the beginning. And I started this a long time ago. I asked him if the garage was going to be on the sign and I was told no. I don't know the details of that. I don't know if the garage is planning on staying where it is. I have no idea. So I told Cynthia today, I will go back and ask them about that
okay.
and see if that's what they'd like to do. The only other thing I can ask, and I don't know if Gulf will allow it, would be to switch my food mart over to be under the Gulf and maybe raise the Gulf logo up a little bit. I don't know if they're going to let me do that, but I certainly will ask.
Oh,
Because I do have stacked signs like that where it would come under it. And again, it's trying to give the town what they like. They like the columns, they like the finials, they like the traditional shape, they love having a base. So we're trying to work within that. So I think the only thing the board is kind of like, oh, that Gulf logo looks silly. I agree. So did the Sunoco one, but I couldn't get them to budge. And when you drive by that, if you look now, you can see it's only 10 inches high, but it's a very wide logo and it couldn't be wider than 10 inches either. And if you
right.
think of the Sunoco logo, it's wider than it is tall. So I only had 10 inches width and, the only
Understood.
good part about that one is it's like a deeper blue background. So it's not quite as noticeable as this.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. And I like your ideas of possibly moving that food mart over. And if that other business were to be listed, that might be a good workaround. You'd have the Gulf at
Right.
the top and food mart, and then another little banner line that talks
Right.
about the car repair.
Well, I will have that information in prior to by next Wednesday, and I will also have it, whether it be a 4x8 or something up there, standing post, whatever. It'll depend on what the storm gives us this weekend.
Understood. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that sounds great. And I appreciate you explaining, kind of the restrictions you're under.
Yeah, they're not easy to deal with. So the next meeting is 2 weeks from tonight.
Correct.
So that would be the 16th.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, Nancy, I did want to just ask, we are prepared with a resolution for the wall mounted sign if we wanted to proceed with that, or we can wait in 2 weeks and do both at the same time.
Yeah, we can wait and do them both at the same time. I'm gonna start 2 signs at one time, whatever it is I'm allowed to end up doing. So
Okay.
we'll
So it
keep
doesn't
that
help you at
together.
all. Okay. Okay.
And I will let Cynthia know as soon as it's marked out and any updates to the drawings if I change them to add the garage or the food mart change.
Okay.
All
Great,
right.
thank you.
That'll work just fine. Tad, did you have anything to add to that?
No, I'm just glad that we're looking at it in a more serious way because of the change in the height of the sign and that intersection. The speed of the vehicles coming out of town are starting to increase. And it's not easy to take a left turn out of there.
Oh, it is so not easy. Yeah, understood. Okay. I'm just gonna go around and ask my colleagues. Stephanie, do you have any comments on this?
No, not this time.
Okay,
Thanks.
Ms. Weiser?
Nothing from me.
Okay. Mr. Oliver?
no comments from me at this time. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Waters.
Just that that suggestion for the food mart to slide over might proportion the sign a little bit better with that logo looking so diminished.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Agreed, Rob. Okay, so Nancy, we'll look forward. You'll let Cynthia know when it's been staked, and
Absolutely.
we'll get out there. And I know Pete, our engineer, will go out and check for like any sight line issues. I drove by there today, and it's not quite as close to the intersection as I thought because of the sidewalk being there. But I still want to see. You still have to be able to look down Route 9 pretty far to see in southbound traffic. So looking
Okay.
forward to that. Thank you
Very
so
good.
much.
All right, thank you.
Yep, have a good evening.
You too, survive the storm.
Yeah.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye. Okay. Going right through. So our final item on the agenda is the Inn at Billfield. And they are requesting that we waive changes to the hotel materials and some reduction of the architectural features. In general, they've done a lot of work to the actual look of the building doesn't seem to change that much. It's all about value engineering and reducing the cost of the building. I've been involved with that, and you shoot for the prettiest and the best, and then you end up having to go with what you can afford. So Larry, I'll let you speak to this.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you for making this happen. This happened in a very short amount of time. It took the town, the T-Rex, Shaner, the architect, and PC Construction, and they're all here tonight. We worked very hard to pull together the information that we submitted fairly quickly. We submitted January 26th, the request for the waiver, and then submitted a supplemental narrative February 1st, then pulled together the PowerPoint presentation February 2nd. So just one thing right after the next. So again, thank you for squeezing us in. We do appreciate that. I want to introduce everybody. We have a crew here, coursers, Bill Hoy with Shaner. He will be doing the presentation with myself, and then Dick Hurdle. Dick Hurdle is with is the architect for the hotel. Coursers, Tom. Where's Tom? There's Tom. Tom Mulroy, Michael Mulroy, both with T-Rex. Larry Pelletier, myself, both with T-Rex, with PC Construction, who's been tasked with providing us with an acceptable budget, and that has been a challenge, and that's why we're here tonight. There's Larry Knapp. There's Larry Knapp. There you are. Larry Knapp, Willie Bruce, and then there's Michael Davies. There you are. Okay, so there's a whole crew of us. Again, thank you very much. What we're going to do, what we pulled together the PowerPoint, so I'm going to share that. See if this works here. Okay, everybody see that?
Yes, looks good.
Fantastic. All right, so what we're going to do is these are the main topics here. The reason why we're here is we're trying to hit a budget, and everybody knows what we're up against. And we requested the meeting, and the town did jump in, schedule a Teams meeting on January 20th, and that's what started all of this, and that's why we're here tonight. The costs associated with this and the challenges, and that's why PC is here. It has been a challenge, and we kept pushing, and then we ultimately had to looking at the elevations and the materials on it. But it's our belief, and again, Bill and the architect could talk about this, that in no way does that affected the general character, the massing, and the overall presence of the building. We're still very, very proud of it. We're getting into some of the material changes and things like that, which significantly reduce the cost. So we'll go into that. So we'll be showing the building elevations. And again, we were on a short fuse here to get this done. So the presentation will present the color, approve the color elevation, and then we'll compare that to a black and white image of the proposed. We zoomed in on those elevations to show that the detailing is still there, and we can answer any questions that you might have. One of the changes is in the brick. So we're going to be showing you what the stencil brick look like. We're reaffirming color selection. We have that in the presentation. And then the stone, which was previously approved, is reaffirmed here tonight. So I'm going to be running the PowerPoint, but Bill and Dick Hurdle will be speaking to it. So, but I'll start here by just saying the way this is set up. This again is the west elevation of approved, and here is the the color section of it. What's interesting about this is right out of the approved documents, and here we were showing the changes, you might remember, and we highlighted those in this green color. This, of course, was the fence that we added to screen the AC units, which are behind here. But Bill, why don't you take it from here?
Sure. Good evening, everybody, and thanks again for considering what we think that we're ready to get going on this project after our tough COVID issues that we had in 2020. And just a quick background, we did have a building permit in May 2020. We had a lender in May 2020. And with that, the lender backed out because of the COVID issues, and we just went to a stop back then. The PC Construction is on the phone with us, or on the meeting with us today. And just to give you some perspective, when we were ready to go in May of 2020, we were at a little over $28 million for our construction to go vertical. Now we were at $34.7 million. That's how much of a jump that the COVID piece has given us. And it just made the project so unavailable for us for returns and for anybody to invest in into this project. So we were very fortunate to just keep pushing and pushing and looking at different materials within the building itself. We did not change any of the square footages that we were approved in the permit. The code issues are exactly the same. We haven't done anything different at all. Where we are picking up our savings, like 171 items, and go more detail to that, has to do with different areas of materials within the building that is still acceptable by Marriott, but instead of using an overseas floor tile, for instance, we're using a domestic porcelain tile. It saves a lot of money that way. I mean, these are just small examples. So the last thing we wanted to do is touch the elevations. The last meeting that I was at in the Poughkeepsie office, we said, well, if we went into the elevations, what can we do? And let's make sure that we keep the west elevation as sacred as possible. So what you're seeing now on the screen is the approved elevation with the porch and the brick. It's an EPIS type brick product in the stone. So what we're planning to do on this west elevation, if Larry would go to the next slide.
Hold up.
That always works perfectly.
Page down. Did I freeze?
I can sketch it up right here. Does that help?
No. Yeah, hold on. There we go.
All right, so this is an overview. As you see, this is the proposed elevation. And from this elevation, it's exactly the same from the perspective of we have not touched the massing, the roofing, areas of all the articulations of the ins and outs. If what we've really done here is we found a lot of savings if we can delete the dentals, which are up on the top face, but we still have a
Right here.
board that we put back in for trim. And then the other major issue here is the porch area that we added
Yep, it's here.
at one of our last meetings. But we're keeping the middle gazebos and the gazebo on the end, but we're eliminating the roof area and the porch area on these exterior rooms that are available for guests to come out and have a real nice porch area.
Which is this right here.
Right, exactly.
That and that.
That was a major, major savings. We are still providing amenity for the guests that have these rooms with a patio without a porch. So they can still come out and enjoy the west elevation and then the sunsets in the west also. So we're very excited about that.
All the windows, all the articulation, as Bill's saying, all remain the same.
Remain the same, exactly. So our concern was to make sure that we kept the west elevation as close as we possibly can. So I know the planning board, as we went through all of our different designs, wanted to make sure that we were complementing the CIA buildings across the street. And we did. This is kind of the least area that we really try to touch as much as we possibly can.
This is just a zoomed in of the middle section of the west elevation, and this again, just to show that the detailing, the articulation, all that is still there. It's the material change, which Bill will go into. And this is the north end of that west elevation. Gazebo is still here. You can see all the articulation.
You can see we kept the coins on the
Right here, yep.
We did, the coins are now a solid color versus a brick color, and we go into that, what that looks like in the color scheme. Trying to complement brick color.
Okay.
On the east elevation is probably the largest change. As you well can understand, the east elevation is facing the hill back within the whole subdivision of Belfield. This is the current approved elevation as you're looking at it today. Our changes are on the porte cochere and the public building. We're not changing anything. We want to make sure that that as designed, and so the guests see it as we would have proposed. The larger change on this elevation, think of this building, as you recall, it's a C-shaped type of building, and what you're looking at, a flat elevation, is the elevations on the right and the left that come forward. We're not changing very much at all. We're reducing some of the stone on those elevations, and then on the back elevation, you can see it's articulated as an EPIS now. So instead of doing a brick stencil program back there, we're looking at doing a flat, a textured EPIS surface. When we get into the colors, what we're going to try to do is we're going to take inspiration from the FDR home down the road a little bit and try to take some of the same colors that complement the brick color on that too. So you can see that this is probably the largest change that we're looking at doing. But we do think it's still going to be appropriate to everything that we're trying to do within the facility. You can see some of the articulation. We still will have bands and accent bands horizontally, so you're not looking at a plain surface there. The front building, as you look at, has not changed. We still have all the articulation in the roof. These are the ends of the building where I was mentioning that we're reducing some of the stone. We used to have stone that went up a little bit higher than what's shown right now. Now we're trying to keep it at a 7-foot level in this elevation. Side elevations is also looking at a 7-foot elevation for stone versus a full height of the first floor. So we're trying to reduce some of those costs right there, but we still have the gazebo that we have on the north side.
And the gazebo here.
Yeah, that's the center gazebo on the west,
Right.
correct? Uh-huh. And that is the south elevation. Same, looking at the north.
Yep. As a result of replacing the front porch with a patio, the idea was to remove a section of the sidewalk, which is shown here in this red dash, and then the light poles, which were put here to light up the pathway. Anybody coming up here still comes in here, access this way, and then of course around and through, around the whole front of the hotel. So this gets into the material, and Bill or Dick, you can maybe explain what the stencil brick is, and here's an example of it.
The brick that we were proposing was an individual piece of ephes that was put onto the building, and it had about maybe a 1/4 inch depth to it, versus the approved product that we were looking at going forward. It's called a stencil brick, and what that entails is an ephes product that's put on the building that has a gray color, and then there's a stencil that puts over that and adds depth to it and becomes a brick looking facade. This is an example of Norwalk, Connecticut. It's a residence inn. This is all stenciled brick to the left of the first bay of the front facade. The front facade is actual real brick, and then everything to the left of that is what we call the stencil brick. And there's another picture I think Larry has that kind of, there you go. You can see this is a great example. The left brick is a stencil brick. The right side is a real brick. And I don't know that you had a chance to look at this prior to the meeting and all, but it's from the eye, it's especially from anywhere. It's a great product. It really helps us out in the industry to allow us to afford something like a project that we're talking about with brick. I think the next slide, okay, yep. So now the color selections. Dick, you want to take, Dick Hurdle's our architect. You want to talk about some of the color selections?
Yeah, yes, of course. Among the architectural features that we've held on to in this new version, or the lintels, the sills, and the horizontal bands that Bill mentioned before, and this is the color that we envision those three elements to be. It's a texture. It's called quartz putz by the manufacturer, and it's a relatively heavy texture, so there is variation in the colors and light and shadow. I think the next slide is the buckskin, which is primarily on the large cornice at the top of the building at the high roofs, as well as the gable and the lakes on the protruding elements coming away from the roof. This color represents the brick that we're hoping to use. Of course, it's reddish brown in contrast with the softer creamier colors that we just showed you. But we feel it complements the stone that has been previously approved, which is a veneer stone, and it's on the next slide. Oh, excuse me, this wall, this is the ephes wall that Bill describes that is behind the main entrance pavilion. on the east elevation. This is the backdrop, if you will, and somewhat similar to the color that's on the FDR mansion. And we like that reference to the history of the location, as well as it aesthetically. I think it sets off the entrance pavilion with its slate roof and muted colors. The last is the colors, the coins. Bill mentioned earlier that we would like to change them from the brick that had been previously shown to a solid color with no brick articulation. And I think this would be a handsome complement to the banding, as well as the gray wall that on the east elevation.
So this is stone that was previously approved, is that correct, Dick?
Yes, this field stone is a veneer product. It's approximately 1.5 inches thick and gets adhered to the substrate.
Okay, I think that is the last slide. So open it up to any questions.
Hi, Larry, it's Victoria. I'm just gonna step in for a second. Two things. One, can you go back to the first page of this presentation?
First page?
Yeah, the cover page.
That thing.
It says 137 rooms. And as far as we know, it's a 133 room hotel. Are you adding rooms as part of this change?
No,
This was the permit that we went into as the same room count.
it was 133 when we had the pool.
Okay, so you're saying there was a site plan amendment
Yeah.
sometime in the interim that changed it
Yeah.
to
We
137?
removed the pool and up the rooms to 137. And of course, Jennifer is here, Jennifer Van Tile. Somehow I missed you in the intro, but she's always with us.
I think it was the resolution that was dated January 15th, 2020. That was the amended site plan approval that did remove the pool and added 4 rooms.
Okay, I have that one up right now, so we'll confirm that. I just wanted to make sure that the numbers were consistent with our
Yep.
approvals.
Yep.
And then second, I did not see that sidewalk plan had been submitted to the planning board as part of your exterior alteration package. The planning board was prepared tonight to waive site plan amendment requirements for the exterior changes to the materials.
Okay.
But as far as I know, that sidewalk plan is new.
Yeah, we talked about at the January 20th meeting.
I'm gonna hop in because I'm looking at notes from that meeting that Michael sent to the planning board. He sent those he sent it to the entire board on January 21st. And he does mention they would also eliminate a portion of the sidewalk that encircles the hotel along the west side, south to north. Guests who have the patios would enjoy more privacy and they would walk in the grass if they leave the patio.
But I'm not sure this was submitted with the package that we
No,
received.
this is just
3 days ago,
an
3 days
informal
ago.
note, yeah.
So as drafted, the board was prepared to move forward with the exterior alterations, but I don't have a reference to this change in there.
Well, I would suggest we move forward with the resolution unless Jennifer or anybody else, and then maybe come back and add this. We're getting the
I mean,
bulk of it.
unless this could be considered tonight, it certainly was part of the materials discussed with the board. If it could be incorporated in the resolution tonight, that would be great. The
the developers are really under a great amount of pressure in a very short period of time to come to a final, what is the word, Larry?
Well, it's
Guaranteed
guaranteed
maximum-
maximum price, and we got to have that done by Friday.
I'm okay with changing the language in the resolution if you can do that, Victoria.
Well, I mean, is this shown on a plan sheet? Does it have a date? How do I reference this document
Yeah,
here?
the only way it is shown is in the PowerPoint that I sent out. And it's page 14 of 27.
Okay, try that.
It obviously will be put on a plan sheet.
Right.
It does, if I can just said in the resolution, in one of the whereas clauses, it does refer to plan set revision. The last one was only noted October 29th, 2021, the revised elevations.
Right, but those plans were just the architecturals this
Right,
is not.
right.
Yeah.
Right, so I'm just wondering if we could add and plan number something or other, but this does not seem to have reference on it.
No, because
Okay.
that, yeah, she only referenced the building and not the actual site plan sheets.
Right. Well, again, so referring to the PowerPoint presented dated February 1st, sheet number, actually, this is the second.
Larry, it's Rob Waters. How is that patio gonna be lit then? If you're removing poles? I see 7 light poles removed.
Yeah, no, this is not here. They're just little porches outside the door. Yeah.
There are
so
lights there, Larry.
The what now?
There are lights on the wall outside of.
Yeah,
those
so
rooms.
that's how they're lit, right?
There's lights on the wall,
On the
Correct.
building. Yeah.
on the building itself.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Mike.
Well, you know,
Um,
Larry, it could be a first change order after you sign the GMP, and it would be to your benefit. You'd save money from the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
So,
the problem is everything goes to the bank and it's all fixed.
it's one big package, right? All right, so Victoria,
If
what
you
do you
let
think
me
we can do?
share, Larry, just let me share my resolution.
How do I do that?
You
Yeah,
said you
unshare.
stop.
Oh, I stopped sharing? Is that the idea?
Yep.
But then how do you get to the PowerPoint?
I'm not. I just want to share my resolution.
Oh, gotcha. There you go.
Okay, so in this resolution, it says 137 guest rooms. It does reference the January 15th, 2020 site plan amendment approval. And then I've added here sidewalk and lighting revision as shown on page 14 of the PowerPoint presented during the meeting on February 2nd, 2022. So
Okay.
Cynthia, you're gonna have to save that down so we have a reference.
Right,
And then I'm gonna have to just change some of the wording, but then now it's included.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I sent that to Cynthia this afternoon.
good, yes, get that in there.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah, it's the western sidewalk, if you want to be specific.
Correct.
Do you want to know how many light poles or?
It's 7.
7, yep.
So
Well,
really, I
that's
should put that up.
Just so you know, that's about $100,000 there.
Yeah.
So
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
we are trying everything to get this thing to hit the number.
Okay. So if we don't mind, maybe I can just go around and get everybody's thoughts now that I think we've talked about the housekeeping here in the resolution. Oh, I see John's joined us. Hi, John. Make sure you can hear us, talk.
I'm here. I've been here about 5 minutes.
Okay, that's fine.
Apologize. My computer is not cooperating. Plus I ran over with my job. So
No worries, John. Glad to have you. Okay, so Victoria, are there any other comments that you wanted to make on the overall changes?
No, I was just seeking clarification on exactly what was included in the scope of the project.
Okay, great. Ms. Moss, perhaps you would like to tell us your thoughts.
I just wanted to let you know that I did have a discussion with the building inspector, and that porch on the building created some interesting requirements in the building code. And he could certainly understand how removing that would reduce the cost quite a bit.
Okay. Anything else?
No.
Okay. I'm going to go to my colleagues. Ann Weiser,
Hi,
what do you
everybody.
think?
Well, I do.
I know
like
you're losing those dentals.
I know. I do like the new color of the coins. I think they'll make them more prominent. They'll stand out. But I will admit I'm very disappointed about the elimination of the dentals, because they were a significant feature that nodded to and reflected its neighbor across the street. I think that they were a significant feature. But that said, I'm just really, really glad you guys are going to be able to move forward. I think that is probably the place we really want to be right now.
Yep.
So, and I appreciate how much of the the approved plan you were able to at least try to keep. So, thank you. That's it.
Very well said, Ms. Weiser. Ms. Wasser, what are your thoughts?
I agree with Ann's comments. I do have a question. If we approve the resolution tonight, do you expect any other amendments before you even get to the GMP? When do you expect to sign this contract? Are you done with this phase of the value engineering before you get to contract? I love how Larry's laughing.
He's laughing, but I'm shaking my head, and Tom, as in yes, it's due Friday, and that's it.
Yeah, we've been working with a small army, trying to look under rocks, trying to find whatever we can in this market, where most of you are aware what's happened in construction materials and commodities. So it's been very, very challenging. So
Oh, I understand.
we're
I
anxious
just
to
want to
go.
know if you're actually, no, I do. If you're going to contract Friday, what does Friday mean? This gun you're under? I just want to know this is actually moving toward the contract signature and the beginning of the construction.
Tom, do you want to answer that?
Yeah, the process is we're getting our GMP, the construction lenders ready to go with all the legal docs, pending the GMP, pending us, the partners, going forward, depending on the final number on Friday.
That was the question I wanted to ask. That's it.
Okay, great. Thank you, Ms. Wasser. Mr. Oliver.
No, other than, I'm really excited to see everything go forward. It's got to be pretty difficult right now with the way building materials and commodities are changing every day. So, best of luck on Friday, and hopefully everything goes as needed, and we start to see some vertical construction. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Oliver. Mr. Waters.
Thank you for working hard on meeting as much of the initial criteria as possible, the design criteria. And it is a difficult time, so we're understanding that, and we like to just see the project move forward, just get it done. Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Waters. Now, Mr. Gercio, this is not an application that you've seen before. I don't know if you have any comments.
All I have is because I missed the presentation and such, but is that I'm happy that they're going to go to construction. I mean, I'm excited for Bellafield. So, I mean,
Excellent
other than
comment.
that, unfortunately, I don't know enough about it, but I mean, it looks, to me, I'm excited about it when I saw it, started a while ago. So,
Okay, excellent comment. Thank you. I think my only comment is on the eastern elevation, and you're talking about the change in the material to more to reflect FDR. Would that also be similar to the materials that's being used right across the street at the brewery? Is that it's that kind of I don't even know what the term is, but it's
like stucco. EFS
it's
is
like
like
stucco.
stucco.
because that's what the brewery did to try to pick up some elements, was they used that as a nod across the street. So, in a way, you're now reflecting even more of Hyde Park. So, that's all I could think is, oh, well, that's pretty neat, because especially if a lot of these visitors then go to FDR and then go have a beer, they're going to know where they are. It's a sense of place again, kind of concept. I don't have any other comments. I'm just happy that you were able to find elements that could replace the more expensive ones, because to me, the overall view, especially from Route 9, continues to look very impressive. So I don't personally have any more comments. So we have a resolution that's waiving these requirements. And Stephanie, I think this is you.
Yep, this is me. My pleasure, actually. Hope this is the last resolution before it goes vertical. Okay, resolution to waive the requirements of site plan approval, the Inn at Bellafield Building Materials Alteration, February 2nd, 2022, Resolution 2017-04N. Whereas, times 9 whereases. Now therefore be it resolved that the planning board hereby reaffirms its prior negative declaration, determining that the amended architectural features, including modification of the western sidewalk and 7 light poles, will not result in any significant adverse environmental impacts. Be it further resolved that upon the recommendation of the zoning administrator, the planning board hereby determines that the proposed modifications to the approved site plan are minor and grants the waiver request pursuant to section 108-9.4C2 of the zoning code, of the zoning law.
Can I have a second?
I'll second that, Chris Oliver.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor, please raise your hands and say aye.
Aye.
Any abstain, any negatives? Resolution passes unanimously. Thank you so much. I know the amount of work you've done on this, and we will all be sending good thoughts your way on Friday.
Awesome. Well, thank you again to get on the agenda. That was a monumental task. So thank you very much.
Mountains can be
Thank you
moved.
to Tad for
And
for
particular
showing us
thanks
the
to
way,
Tad.
and Cynthia and everybody, PC, Shane, everybody stepped up to make this happen.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. And again, I can't wait to hear that everything went through and we're going vertical. Thanks again.
All right, everybody have a great night.
You too.
Thank you.
You too.
Good night,
Very
everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Night, everyone.
Okay, so I think that's it for our agenda. We are now at the adjournment portion of the agenda. Thank you, everybody, for keeping up with all the materials that came out for that. So
And thank you, Anne. Bravo.
Yes,
Thank you,
nice
Ann.
job.
Great job, Ann.
Thank you.
I
Leadership
do it
runs
once a
deep.
year, right?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, you guys are the best, so thank you so much.
Thank you.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion, Chris Oliver.
Do I
I'll
have a
second that. Ann Weiser.
There you go. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you
Good
all
night,
very much and
everybody.
good luck. Good luck
Good
in the
night.
ice storm that's coming up.
Good
It's
luck,
safe.
everyone.
Be
Yeah,
safe.
should be a lot of fun.
I hope that, I hope that
You
ice
poor
storm
guy.
doesn't, I hope that ice storm doesn't impact their meeting on Friday.
Oh,
Oh, they'll Zoom, won't they?
they're virtual.
Zoom.
Everything's virtual.
You can do everything
Okay.
by Zoom,
Okay,
including wiring money.
I need to figure out how to treat the ice with Zoom.
But I can't figure out how do I walk my dog with Zoom? That's what I need to figure out.
Hey,
There you go.
Everybody have a
Thank
good
you,
night.
everybody.
Good
Okay.
night,
everyone.
Take care.
Right.
All right.
Woo! You tell them, Reddy.